Hello and welcome. You're watching Addis Media Network, and this is our weekly review with me, Brahanat Adasa, and my colleague here, of course, Lilin Tamaskan. It's quite a pleasing to have you here, brother.
Thank you so much indeed. It's been quite some time since I took part in weekly review.
Yes.
Since I last participated.
Yes. It's already years, and we're really glad that you are here. And it would be very nice if you just can tell us some of the issues we had over the week. And,
yeah, of course.
Yes.
A number of diplomatic events happened over the week, and we have selected very few to highlight today. For example, ambassadors of Israel, Canada, and Cuba, gave exclusive interview to Ethiopian news agency and also AMN TV channel to highlight the ongoing diplomatic relations between Ethiopia and their respective countries. And also Ethiopia-Uganda ministerial level joint commission meeting took place yesterday. So we'll be discussing all this, and also we will be taking time to discuss also green transportation in Addis Ababa,
which you enjoy the most.
Yes, and new buses, around 100 new buses, electric vehicles, have been launched in Addis Ababa. So we'll be discussing that. Floriculture in Ethiopia, Ethiopia's economic diplomacy, and also prosperity party within 7 years since the introduction of the reform.
Yes. So you gave us different issues then over the weekend. Now there were others as well, but just we randomly picked some of them, and these are the prominent, of course, to be honest. And before we go to the green transportation you mentioned earlier, it'd be very nice if we can mention the diplomatic relations we had over the week, and starting with the Ethiopian-Israel ties and the Ethiopian-Canada relations. We'll go, of course, to Cuba as well, and finally there was also the Ethiopian-Uganda ministerial level that joint commission will of course talked about as well. And let's directly go to Israel.
Yes. Before highlighting what the ambassador Abraham Nuguse, Israel's ambassador to Ethiopia, said about the bilateral relationship between Ethiopia and his country, Israel, I just want to say something. Actually, the relationship between Israel and Ethiopia, particularly the connection between
the two countries,
Ethiopian Jewish community and called Beit Israel and ancient Israel, is deeply rooted in biblical narratives and oral traditions that predate the birth of our Lord Jesus Christ. The legend, the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon being the key element. So the collaboration or the cooperation, the relationship in general, has been growing more and more with lots of cooperation in different fields.
So the idea you mentioned, of course, it would be very nice if you just can elaborate a little bit of it. The Beit Israel, I was saying that Queen of Sheba, Queen Makeda, was of course related to Israel and brought back many Ethiopians as well, including her son, King Menelik as well.
Yes. Actually, the two countries bound in blood as well. So people-to-people relationship is, the peoples of the two countries are more intermingled in terms of religion and intermarriage as well. So the Beit Israel in the Ethiopian people who believe in Judaism. So some of them were taken to Israel and got citizenship, and the rest are still living here. So they are helping in strengthening the cooperation between the two countries in different fields.
By chance, you've never been to to this place yet?
I wish to go there and to pay a visit to some of the historical and religious places. Who knows?
Very soon, hopefully you'll be there. And it would be a good chance for us. You can report some stories from Israel, from Bethlehem and other places as well to Addis Media Network. And as you mentioned, the Israeli ambassador to Ethiopia, Abraham Nuguse, said Ethiopia and Israel are having wonderful bilateral relations in different cases, including the agriculture that I really interested in. And the ambassador said that Israel's remarkable economic transformation over the past 70 years was quite amazing. And this is the transition from the arid landscape to fertile lands, because Ethiopia, I think mostly we don't have such a problem, but in some areas, there's some arid areas, and it would be very nice if we can take lessons from other countries. And I by chance, I was just watching some of the videos of the agriculture, Israeli agriculture, and I was really wowing, to be honest. Like, it was totally arid, which is totally infertile, and changing it from arid to fertile and seeing different agricultural products is quite amazing. And I was like, maybe I should go with a little as well to Israel and pick some as well.
Yeah, actually, because they deploy, up-to-date agricultural technologies. That's why they are, flourishing in agriculture. And they are also hard-working people. We are endowed with natural gifts. We have fertile, arable land, but we still lack, in terms of diligence and hard working and adopting technologies, different technologies.
And it's good to take a lesson.
When you look at the state formation of Israel, it's been around 70 years ago, the modern state formation of Israel. But within this short period of time, they look at them, how they are flourished and developed, and it's amazing. And that's why the ambassador wanted to, give exclusive interview, saying that Israel is keen to, transport different technologies and support the ongoing economic reform in Ethiopia, and strengthen, the long-standing relationship of the two countries, and take it to the next level.
Even you mentioned Queen of Sheba, Queen Makeda traveled from Ethiopia to Israel and walked back, of course. You can say that was only walking, while there were other old ways of transportation. And the ambassador, Abraham Nugusi, mentioned that Ethiopia, especially Addis Ababa and Israel, have a lot in common, including the agriculture and transportation as well. He said every time he comes back to Addis, he said it reminds of his country back, the Israel, and I was really impressed with that as well.
You're right. And the other potential areas the two countries are profoundly working is renewable energy, water management, and irrigation systems. This is the main focus area. The Israeli government would like to be engaged more in supporting Ethiopia and its economic reform as well.
It's good to mention, and that we have to remember as well that security is there as well. And Ethiopia is always ready to learn from the best.
Right,
Yes.
I think so.
And we're going to Canada. I think we have to book today. And Ethiopia and Canada, of course, are growing their relations, the bilateral relations, and the ambassador, Canadian ambassador to Ethiopia, Joshua, said he's really pleased with the bilateral relations Ethiopia and Canada have. And this relation is, of course, increasing, mostly when you come to diplomatic, economic, and I love the term people-to-people ties as well. And that's what the ambassador said, Ambassador Joshua.
You're right. Actually, Ethiopia has, created a very smooth diplomatic relationship with all countries around the globe in order to be, benefiting from the cooperation it has with either developed or developing countries. It's good to be peaceful with all countries, right? So it's a new scheme Ethiopia has been, applying, especially since the government reform. And the ambassador highlighted that there is an increase in direct flights between Addis Ababa and his capital city, Toronto, with flights now operating daily, which facilitates easier connections between the two countries, and it helps the trade cooperation of the two countries as well.
It really does. It really does. And it would be very nice if we can just take a listen of the Canadian ambassador to Ethiopia, Joshua Tapa, and we'll be back after this.
The bilateral relationship between Canada and Ethiopia is mature, robust, and expanding. We first established diplomatic relations in 1965, and we've been building on that relationship every year since. It is a multifaceted relationship, At its core, it's about people and strong people-to-people ties. From the beginning, we've also been an important partner to Ethiopia in terms of international development cooperation. We have expanding trade and commercial relationships as well. Our development cooperation in Ethiopia is often annually our largest bilateral development program, with over $200 million invested in support of Ethiopian priorities regarding gender equality, access to livelihoods, agricultural productivity, economic empowerment, and also humanitarian assistance. In addition to that development cooperation, which is based on a government-to-government relationship but works with multiple partners across the country, we also have expanding trade and commercial partnerships.
Dear viewers, you're watching, of course, Addis Media Network, and this is our weekly review with me, Brian Tadus, and my colleague Lillian Tamaskin, and we were just discussing the ideas, the relations between Ethiopia and other countries. And the last we took was, of course, Ethiopia and Canada. And we heard the Ambassador Joshua Tabe saying wonderful things about the economic cooperation and highlighting the cooperation between Ethiopia and Canada as well. And let's move on. And you, of course, love talking about Cuba.
Cuba.
Since we've had many relations.
Cuba,
Yes.
you know, it's historical relationship.
Yes.
Many Ethiopians went to Cuba and did their masters. You know, they just did their degrees in different fields.
Sure.
Especially the educational cooperation between the two countries is massive, and those Ethiopian students who got scholarships and gained expertise in different sectors came back and have been helping their country through so many efforts. So it's historical and it's strong, actually, the cooperation. And in connection with that, the Cuban ambassador to Ethiopia, also, as we said, gave an exclusive interview to AMN.
Yes.
And he just highlighted the long-standing historical and diplomatic relations of the two countries. And as you know, by the time Ethiopia entered into war with neighboring country Somalia, by the time Somali soldiers, invaded the territory of Ethiopia, Cuban President Fidel Castro supported Ethiopia, sent around 15,000 soldiers, and the victory, gained for Ethiopia through that effort.
Yes, the history has it that, and we're still proud of it.
Yes,
and we had even the celebration before some weeks, and it's really good to mention that one. And the Cuban ambassador to Ethiopia, Mylene Suarez Alfaris, of course, reflecting about the future cooperation between Ethiopia and Cuba. The ambassador said that optimism about the future of Cuba-Ethiopia relations for the part Cuba ambassador to the African Union. And even Hernandez Paulo said that Cuba's desire is to strengthen partnership with different countries, including Ethiopia. And Ethiopia is becoming the hub of Africa. That's why
the rest of African countries acknowledge that Addis Ababa is the capital.
It's true.
Yeah.
So it's really good to have Addis as the capital of Africa, and that's why the Cuban ambassador to Ethiopia said that it's having different relations with different countries and African countries as well. So every time you mention Africa, there's of course Ethiopia as well. So it would be very nice if we could just take a listen of Mylene Suarez and Lucas Domino talking about the relations between Ethiopia and their country as well. And we'll be back.
Relation between Cuba and Ethiopia is a very hard foundation in the people that died during the Ogaden War, fighting for the sovereignty of Ethiopia. And in the 50 year, we have the idea to continue moving forward to the bilateral relation, especially in the economical sector, because there are a lot of things that we can do together. The future will be very amazing because Cuba and Ethiopia have a long history together with dignity and sovereignty, and also we have a lot of possibility to strengthen the relation even more than until now.
Our objective is to continue develop the collaboration, the relation between Cuba and Africa in general. If Cuba have a lot of relation with African, different countries of Africa, our proposal is to continue development of the cooperation with African Union in general, in any sector, in different sectors, health sector, education, biotechnology sector, in different areas. And I think that Cuba and Africa are brother and sister, and we have to promote this year, that is the year of the Justice Africa, and from Africa and from Afro descendants, with the reparation. With the reparation is how Cuba and Africa can work together. Reparation is the collaboration in all sectors between Cuba and Africa. This is our proposal here, and we will to work hard in order to achieve that proposal.
The Cuban ambassador to Ethiopia and Cuban ambassador to the African Union reside here. By the time they gave exclusive interview to AMN, they also told AMN Plus, saying that they are just closely observing the developmental activities being undertaken by the government,
European government,
and Addis Ababa City Administration in the capital and also across the country.
Yes.
And they admired the country's impressive step in development, especially the rapid growth witnessed, in Addis Ababa, in connection with corridor development.
Yes, it's impossible not to talk about the corridor development in different parts of the country, including Addis Ababa, Bahadar, Dredawa, Harar, and other places. And this diplomats have been visiting those places, and it would be very nice to come even to Addis Media and give us their ideas anytime soon. Right.
Yes.
So let's move on.
Let's move on.
Yes.
Ethiopia-Uganda Ministerial Commission meeting took place
over the week.
Over the week.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, Ethiopia has established ministerial commissions with different countries around the globe, particularly with African countries, in order to strengthen economic ties for mutual benefits. So the joint Ethiopia-Uganda Ministerial Commission meeting is among those held in Addis Ababa, and the purpose of this meeting is fostering bilateral relations between the two nations, according to the information obtained from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia. And Gideon Timotheos was part of the program. He remarked in his opening speech, said that the session is believed to uplift the existing bilateral relations between the two countries. And Nile Basin and transboundary issues also raised during the meeting.
Yes. So speaking about the Ministry of Foreign Affairs speech, Gideon Timotheos, as you said, the Minister, even Foreign Affairs of Uganda, of course, discussed even these ideas. And the joint ministerial commission of the two nations has come in time when the bilateral relations of the two countries is flourishing, like the flower. Yes. So in case we missed the speeches, and it would be very nice to remind our viewers both speech right here, and you're watching Addis Media Network, and this is our weekly review with me, Brandon Tadasa, and my wonderful colleague, Alalita Miskan. We'll be right back.
This meeting will play a significant role in enhancing the brotherly relations between our two nations. We hope that it will strengthen our cooperation in several key areas, including parliamentary cooperation, integrated development of the Nile River Basin, security and counter-terrorism, integrated efforts to fight illegal migration, as well as transboundary organized crimes. We need to redouble our effort to further enhance our engagement in trade and investment, implementing the cooperation agreements we have signed in the past, and by identifying potential areas of cooperation. We also need to enhance our regional cooperation to deal with mounting challenges we are facing. I must recognize the excellent partnership we have developed in ensuring equitable and reasonable utilization of the Nile waters. We have come this far, and enhancing our regional cooperation through the finalization of the establishment of the Nile River Basin Commission would be crucial.
This session comes at a point in time when our bilateral relations have blossomed and flourished. Indeed, ever since we met way back in 2019 in Kampala. Despite the absence of the formal joint ministerial commission meetings in the last 6 years, our two countries have demonstrated great commitment to keep relations alive, vibrant, and productive.
Dear viewers, you're watching Addis Media Network, AMN Plus, and this is our weekly review. We're discussing different issues over the week, and finally, we of course move into Prosperity Party over the last 7 years. And I want to take it back to what happened before 7 years. What were your views? How did you understand it? And what have you witnessed for the last 7 years? You can raise a 7-year-old baby, and what would that child say about the whole time he spent the whole time? Like, there were many activities, to be honest, here. So
Yeah.
just remind us.
You know, before these government reform emerged in the country, there were turmoils,
Sure.
tensions among Ethiopian people because of the rising inflation and high cost of living.
Yes.
So that pushed the people, you know, and made them took to the streets and oppose the government system.
Yes.
So some of you know, government chiefs within the system and discussed and you know, came up with a new government reforms so that to soothe you know, the rising tension in among the nations.
It wasn't only the tension, to be honest. Like people had been asking for new government as well, because it was there for many years, almost 30 years, and people always love to see the change as well.
Now
there were many promises, and some were broken, and they really want to see a change. That's why they were looking for reform, a new government, and we witnessed to see the Prosperity Party. And that came in a wonderful way. And of course, you remember the Nobel Prize. Vice President of the Ethiopian ruling party, Prosperity Party, that is Adam Farah, remarking. He said that the party has achieved significant progress, which have been the potential for nation building. And nation building, of course, doesn't come overnight, and it takes time. That's according to the speech we had. And the Deputy Prime Minister and Vice President of Ethiopia's ruling party said that the party has brought tremendous, different, all-dimensional changes, attributing to the end of wide public hues and cries before the reform period, as we already mentioned. And let's just try to see what the Vice President of the Prosperity Party said. Adam Farah, of course, said that we have to build a strong and acceptable nation. There should be an all-inclusive movement and atmosphere that engulfs all citizens. And this is the right time to take a listen of the Vice President. And we'll be back.
ጠንካራና ቅቡልነት ያለው ሀገረ መንግስት ለመገንባት ሁሉንም ዜጎች ያሳተፈ እንቅስቃሴ
To build a strong and acceptable nation, there should be an all-inclusive movement and atmosphere that engulfs all citizens. Any party that considers leading a country should think of including all parties and all Ethiopians, regardless of any ethnic background. The Prosperity Party is playing the leading role in customizing this trend. The party is perfectly implementing its responsibility, recognizing the exact cause of the reform in Ethiopia.
ጠንካራና ቅቡልነት ያለው ሀገረ መንግስት በመገንባት በሀገራችን ሁለንተናዊ ብልጽግና ለማረጋገጥ የሚረዳ ሐሳብ ይዞ
The party strongly works on being a fortune to all Ethiopians and the Eastern African region communities. The party doesn't have a stand of benefiting a certain ethnicity and ignore the other. The party has a deep vision of working for justice, mutual growth and prosperity. The party has been striving even to share its ideologies to the other parties. Its members are also all-inclusive, who strongly stand firm for safety and security of all Ethiopians.
Dear viewers, you're watching Addis Media Network, and this is our weekly review. And of course, we're talking about different ideas. And now is a wonderful time to talk about floriculture and horticulture, of course. Yes. And I know that I heard that you love flowers as well, and you have given some flowers to your loved ones.
I don't think
really
so.
do.
I don't think so. I
Yes.
have.
Yes, I think we should have that culture as well,
because it's just we can barely find it unless we just go around the bushes and find some. And
so you want to go to the bushes and pick one
because
by yourself.
we didn't find typical rose flowers.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I really love flowers, and
Really?
especially the meaning is wonderful.
Yes.
If you just pick one flower and give it to your loved ones, it could be your family members, by the way. Some people are really astonished when you give a flower to your own brother. It's like, what is that supposed to mean? But that is the love itself. So we're talking about the love of flowers, and Ethiopia loves to grow flowers as well. And over the week, heads of foreign firms noted that Ethiopia is one of the very few countries that can produce flowers all year round. And
Ethiopia is very big country when you compare to other neighbor countries. The opportunities are also bigger than the other countries. And the highlands is just giving a lot of good opportunity for the high quality the agriculture productions. So, and also the logistics, when you compare to other countries, the logistics is also very good, because here the air cargos and the others is supported by the government, so the cargo prices is much more convenient. We are expecting much better business in the future in Ethiopia, and the population is very big. The country itself is very big.
Ethiopia is one of these very few countries that have the possibility to produce flowers all over the year. Which place Ethiopia in a very, very favorable position to produce. So the flower industry has started 20 years ago or 25 years ago in Ethiopia and developing quite well.
Dear viewers, you're watching Addis Media Network, and this is our weekly review with me, Brahana Taddesa, and my colleague, of course, Alin Tamasgan. And before we came to the studio, you were just mentioning some of the ideas of green transportation, and what a green idea that is, by the way. Really amazing idea. Of course, because every time you talk about the green transportation, there are many infrastructures you can use, including electric vehicles, green highway partnership, of course, pedestrian bridges that we barely had, and construction of materials matter, of course, green. And one thing that I felt you are really interested was about the biking, of course, yeah. And I really want you to tell us about your
all these
friendship.
are coming up now.
Yes.
Because of the ongoing corridor development.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
So are you into biking?
I don't think so, because
Yes.
I'm not into it.
Yes.
I love walking.
Walking.
Yes.
So it's all for you, because we have different lanes as well. You can walk wherever you want.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay, take us about green transportation and what has,
Actually, it is about conforming to the agreement made at Paris, climate action, session. So Ethiopia is one of among those countries signed the agreement.
Yes.
So the country and the city in general, are committed to conform to the agreement and the action plan already set by global leaders.
Yes.
So in connection with that, Addis Ababa city is pioneering compared with the rest of African cities.
Yes.
So if you remember, Addis Ababa is among member cities in C40 global network.
Yeah.
So it has been awarded,
Yeah.
right? If you remember,
Of course.
2 years ago, the city administration was awarded for its contribution in waste management, in composting and recycling. So this is part of that agreement.
Yes.
So the climate crisis is deteriorating from time to time. So an action plan must be implemented. So Addis Ababa is just implementing it by developing different infrastructures, and by avoiding, fuel-consuming cars, instead, bringing electric vehicles. So the recent event is somehow connected with this one. Addis Ababa City Administration has introduced 100 city bus, which operate in electric.
Yes. Speaking of city, and it would be very nice if we can mention as well the smart city and smart growth, because that is a new way of developing people itself, people themselves, and even the country. Because sometimes when you think about smart growth, it's like the green legacy, of course, and it's part of green transportation as well. And it somehow needs to be a guidance, because people might not see what is in it for me there. People are using different ways, avoiding the gas, the fuel, and other things as well. So it's really good that we give the ideas as well. In one way or the other way, people have to understand what is going on. So we are at the time of smart growth. You don't just grow in a normal way because you have to grow, but you plan it first and see the change within a short period of time. And I love the idea of having smart growth itself. Alelin, it's been a wonderful time with you, and of course we were talking about the issues we had over the week, including the diplomatic relations with Ethiopia and Israel, Ethiopia and Canada relations, and Ethiopia and Cuba ties. And of course we talked about the Ethiopia-Uganda ministerial level joint commission, and directly we went to expanding green transportation, as you love the vehicles, of course the electric vehicles as well. And we went directly to floriculture in Ethiopia and how they think Ethiopia is one of the best countries to grow. And the other one we mentioned was, of course, the Prosperity Party in the last 7 years, and how it was welcomed by different people in Ethiopia. And it was really quite amazing, by the way, talking to you.
Great.
Yes.
It's a pleasure.
Yes, and I really appreciate. Hopefully, I will have you some other time.
Some other time.
Really.
Yes.
Dear viewers, you've been watching Addis Media Network, and this is our weekly review. And with me, Brahana Taddasa, and my colleague, of course, Alilin Temaskan. Hopefully, you've had a wonderful time, and I will catch you next time. Bye for now.